everyone, welcome to No Syllabus, your stop for leadership, success, and life tips for the next generation of leaders. If you're finding our channel for the first time, we'd like to welcome you. Here at No Syllabus, what we do is we talk about leadership, success, life tips, some things that we've learned along the way that we wish we knew while we were getting out of school and getting into the real world. As our slogan says, in life there is no syllabus. Unfortunately, once we get into the real world, there isn't a handy-dandy guide to guide us on what we need to do, how we need to do it. Hopefully this channel is a benefit to you, and if you're coming here for the first time, be sure to like and subscribe if you find this content useful, and we'll be able to bring you a lot more coming up here at No Syllabus. So the topic for today, what we're going to be talking about today is we're actually going to be talking about how to manage workplace stress. Stress seems to be a common theme in our society these days, unfortunately. Everywhere you look, people are getting sick, people are having arguments, people are just on edge because of stress, and stress mounts up pretty easily. So hopefully this video will give you a couple tips to help ease that stress and make your process a lot simpler when it comes to your day-to-day workplace. So the first tip we're going to give you in terms of how to handle workplace stress is to make sure you lessen your load. Early on, especially as you're coming new into your career, you'll feel like you need to take on everything. Your boss may bring something to you, or your manager, or whoever it may be, may bring something to you and ask you if you'd like to take it on. And because you're eager to earn those stripes, you're eager to get that recognition so that you can progress your career forward, you're going to take on a lot of things, maybe a lot of roles and duties that you really shouldn't take on yourself. You know, you take it on because you feel like it'll look good on the resume, or you feel like it'll make you look good in the eyes of the boss, and it might for a time, but having too much on your plate is a big key, or is a big trigger really, for increasing the stress in your life. Take off some things that you don't necessarily have to do. If you can hand it off to somebody else, I'm sure there's somebody just as competent or just as good as you that'd be more than happy to take it off your plate. A lot of times the extra recognition or the extra pat on the back really isn't worth the extra stress that you put on your life, because those little responsibilities add up into big boulders and big duties down the road. So first tip is to just make sure you lessen your load, minimize the responsibilities that you have, and try to make sure you're operating at a position where, yeah, you're effective, yeah, you're adding value to a company, but you're not overwhelmed and you're not burdened every single day that you come in. Now, the second tip that I'll give you when it comes to handling workplace stress is prioritizing. You want to prioritize your priorities, okay? What you'll want to do is you want to make sure you look at your workload, look at everything that you need to get done, and prioritize in an order. And this is something that I honestly learned from reading and listening to Dr. John C. Maxwell. If you guys have never heard of Dr. Maxwell, he's a phenomenal leadership expert, phenomenal leadership guru, has written tons of books, and does a great job in terms of empowering and uplifting and building leaders. But he talks about categorizing the things that you need to do into 4 categories. You want to talk about high importance and high urgency, right? These are things that are super important, but they're also super urgent. So you want to make sure that you get them done, you take care of them, you get them out the way, so that it's something that if your day ended and these things were done, your day was successful. From there, what you want to do next is you want to get into the things that are high importance but low urgency, right? They're still important, they're still critical, but they may not be as urgent, they may not be time sensitive. So these are things that are still on the top of the list, but they're not as time crucial. The next level, these are things that are low importance but have high urgency, right? It's kind of flip-flopping there. So it's not as important, but it's a sense of time. Like, for example, if you're in the office and you still haven't gotten your lunch, but the cafeteria is about to close, not that important, right? But it's high urgency because of the time. You need to get there, you need to get your lunch. But that's just a good example in terms of low importance but high urgency. And the last line up down there is things that are low importance and low urgency. Right? And these could be things like checking old emails or clearing out your spam folder, just things that are not that important and they're not that urgent. You know, if your day ended but you didn't get those things done, you're going to be okay. That's kind of the second tip I would give you, is prioritizing. And what prioritizing will do is it'll help take the pressure off, because you know you're getting the important things done and that you're not letting those lag and drag on into the end of the day, or drag on into a position where now you're in trouble with your boss or your leadership. So make sure that you prioritize your priority and you get the things that are important done first. Third tip that I'll give you when it comes to lowering workplace stress is to make sure you don't internalize things. A lot of times when we're dealing with people, when you're at work, you're dealing with people, right? And people are messy. People aren't always perfect, and you'll have conflict, you'll have some, butting of heads, and you'll have people say things to you that you might be like, I don't know how to feel about that, right? I didn't take that the right way. Whatever it may be, whatever happens in your day at work, don't internalize it. The way stress builds up is when you take those things that happen and you start internalizing them. You keep holding on to them and you keep meditating on them and bringing back up those thoughts, bringing back up those emotions. And essentially that builds up the stress in your life and it ruins the rest of your day. If you have things happen during the workday, don't internalize it, don't hold it in, just kind of let it go, let it roll off your back. If it's crucial enough, obviously take care of the situation, whether it's in terms of sitting down with a person that's offending you or whatever it may be, you handle it. But for the most part, most of the things that are going to happen at work are not going to be that crucial. So don't internalize things. Corporate America can be a very messy and volatile place. So you want to make sure that you're just kind of like a duck over water. Let it all just roll off your back and keep moving on and doing the things you need to do. So third tip, don't internalize things, just kind of let them roll and keep moving on with the punches. Last tip that I'll give you in terms of how to handle workplace stress is when you leave work, leave your work at work. Okay, and I'll say that again. When you leave work, leave your work at work. Don't take your work with you, right? A lot of times, especially when we're young and we're trying to make a name for ourselves in our career, is that we try to be super productive. We try to take our work with us. I know I did it early on. I would take my laptop with me back home, and then I would try to work through dinner or work through the evening to try and get things done. And what I came to find out is that all I was doing is that I was building up the stress in my life because I was not being productive with my time at the office. I had to take it and have it leak into my life outside of the office. And that built up stress because my work never ended. It just felt like work never ended, and that became super stressful in my life. So when I started just saying, hey, once I'm done with work, I'm done. I unplug, I leave the laptop, I leave the worries, I leave the concerns at the office, because you know what? They're gonna be there when you come back. Those things that you need to deal with at work, they're gonna be there. So there's no need to try and lug them with you at home, because it's just gonna disrupt your home life. It's gonna disrupt the things that you're trying to do with your family. So when you're done with work, unplug and be done with it. And something that helps with it is actually getting out, maybe getting some hobbies, getting some things to do. Like you saw in the intro of this video, going out to the park. What I shot there was actually at a nature reserve here around Ohio, and we were just out and about. We're getting out there, exploring nature, seeing different things, and just unwinding. And that's a big thing, is that we live in such a high stress world that people don't know how to unwind anymore, right? A lot of times people don't have hobbies because work has become their hobby. It's become the thing that they do all the time. So you want to just make sure you have something that you can fall back on. You have something that you can go back home to and just unplug, saturate your mind with something else, whether it's reading, whether it's sports, whatever it may be. Just take your mind off of work, and that will help you reduce the stress, because you know what? The work is always going to be there, but your health and your wellness is not if you keep pushing yourself too hard. Those are some tips that I'll give you in terms of how to reduce workplace stress. Just some lessons, some things that I've learned the hard way, kind of some things that I've messed up on that hopefully can be a blessing to you and help you in terms of your journey on how to live that work life, how to be a good employee, good entrepreneur, good at what you do, but not be super stressed, right? You want to make sure that you lessen your load. Be sure to prioritize the things that you need to get done. Don't internalize things. Whatever happens at work, leave it at work. And when you're done with work, be sure to unplug and take your mind elsewhere. Take yourself elsewhere. Find hobbies, find things to do that will take your mind off of work and can allow you to relax, renew, and be ready for the next day. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to be having more videos like these here at No Syllabus, things that can really help you out, help you guys move forward in a big way. So tune in next time, and we'll see you then.